Hello friends, Techman Pat here. Hope you are well. Happy New Year if you haven't watched a review in a while. Today we're going to be looking at the Tapo Smart Secure Easy Outdoor Security Wi-Fi Camera. I'm really excited and I'm also disappointed. I want to tell you all about it, so let's roll the intro. The Tapo C310 is probably my favorite all-in-one security camera, and I am disappointed because it only came out recently and I only got my hands on it again recently. I'm disappointed because I went out and bought more TP-Link cameras that I really liked at the time, but this thing goes a lot beyond. So what is it? Well, first of all, it's a security camera. It is both Wi-Fi and Ethernet connected, which means that, yeah, you can connect it via cable or wireless, but you know, why would you do it via cable? Like at this point in time, most Wi-Fi areas are pretty good unless you're extending it over a long distance. All you need is a power plug and that's it. It has a 3 megapixel high definition sensor in there. It is also waterproof, IP66, and of course it has motion detection, and it can also send you notifications and record the movements and so on. Now the killer feature of this is actually the ability to save locally to a little SD card that has a screwed cap on it and you can't access easily if you just walk up to it. That means that it is secure enough for you to have around your home and it'll record locally, and you don't need a subscription to a service, a cloud service where it saves all your recordings, and that is the killer feature of this device. It also connects to Google Home, Alexa, and we'll look at the app in a moment. Of course, it has standard features. It is 1080p. The quality is brilliant. I'm impressed for both night vision and day, and we'll talk about the contrast in a minute once we actually jump into the app. It also has the ability to talk to the other person, have almost a call where you dial in and you can both speak to each other, especially if you got a delivery person coming through, they're knocking and they expect maybe a signature, but you have a safe place to put it in. You can talk to them, but you can also tell people maybe the code to get into your door if you've got a smart door. The quality of the video is brilliant, and the fact that you can have up to 128 gigs of storage on the little card, and obviously you have to buy one, it doesn't come with one, but once you plug it in, you can store a lot of data and it does overwrite older ones. So you literally have almost like 60 to 90 day history if you're just recording every time there is a motion, and that's what I'm doing. So it's not continuous recording, but it is motion detection. And at the end of the day, motion detection is probably the best case scenario for cameras like this. Now I have set this camera up in my garage because I had a couple of cameras all around the house anyway, and I wanted to see how it works with a very dark area and a very light area where there is no roof. And I also wanted to test out night vision to check on the newly built shed and the lockable door. And the idea is to see at night if the car is okay and if nobody's trying to sneak through some of the fences. So distance-wise from the Wi-Fi, it's actually quite far away, but it's so quick. The app works so well, and I was impressed at how quickly the images connected as soon as I was on the app. Now when I'm remotely, it's dependent on my 4G speed, and again, it was faster than the other TP-Link cameras, and that was actually quite shocking to me that even though this is another app that you have to load up from TP-Link, the idea is that it works better. And I would suggest to you that if you are thinking about getting cameras, this is the one to get. So let's jump into the app and have a look around.
So we're in the app right now, and as soon as you have obviously more than one camera, you'll see a lot more here. What I've got here is the garage camera, and I can tap into it. But before we go into that, let's check out some of the other bits and pieces that we can see here. First of all, there is some smart actions, like when you leave home, it does something. When you arrive home, it does something. Let's click into the leave home part. With one tap, you can turn on a smart bulb, smart plug, and smart camera. And these things are coming soon, as you can see here, for the firmwares. But the idea here is that Tapo connects to more than just your cameras. It's going to be controlling your entire home. But obviously, it still works with things like Google Home anyway. Now, when I click into me, I can obviously see my details, camera memory, I can update firmware, I can see notifications, I can check the micro SD, and obviously the killer feature is that micro SD. I can check on the camera preferences, I can live tag things, so there's a little live button there, and a speed tag for how fast it is rendering. Let's turn that on. And if I go back to here, I can now tap into the things like voice control, and I can connect it to Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant. I can also share the device with other people who have also logged into this account, but with their own account, and I can check the camera memory if there's anything saved. There is actually things saved. and if we click on home, we can click into the garage and we can now see the garage. It is very, very nice quality. I can tap over here and see a larger version. I can zoom in, and as you can see, there's a bunch of dirt over here. My bike's there, and the garage door for the shed. There is a very light area on the right hand side, and it is still very clear compared to the really dark garage. This is probably one of the best things I have found about this camera, and that is the way the contrast can actually work. Obviously there's some overly bright areas, it can't be perfect, but for me, this is probably one of the best things I've seen. I can tap the camera icon, take a photo. I can also start recording. I can also hear the sounds that are coming out of there. I can also speak into it, and we'll record that in a moment. And I can also make a call, which means we can speak back and forth. Now, if we pop back into here, you can see a couple of things. I can place talk, voice call, so it's back and forth, not just a one-way connection. I can click on privacy mode, which basically locks it off and doesn't record anything for now. So just in case you have it maybe at a party or something, or maybe somebody is not comfortable with it, I can check the playback and memory. This is probably the most important part and the killer feature of this app. As you can see, my wife was jumping in the car, getting the dog in there and leaving. And every single notification is just around here, and I can just navigate to it and I can see if there was movement. Now, it is sensitive and you can change the sensitivity, but as you can see, it's all saved locally and I don't have to connect anywhere. That is the best part about this. You don't need a subscription anymore. You can just flick through the details that are captured inside the device, because at the end of the day, the notifications are saved to the memory. So you can see here, I've saved some to the memory locally, which is the video I just took before. I can download it, can share it, I can remove it, and so on. But the biggest benefit of having these Tapo cameras is actually the fact that you don't need a subscription. You just need a little memory card inside the camera. And that makes it an absolute bargain comparably to the other TP-Link offerings.
All right, here we are. This is the camera. It is a Space Fighter. As you can see, those wings are absolutely there for flying and connecting to Wi-Fi. I've got my app. I am recording it here. I'm recording it on my phone. I'm also recording it on here because I want to share with you the actual audio quality, and I want to show you the quality of the camera comparably to me standing there. Now, we're obviously in a bit of a weird area because it is fully open there with the light. It is much darker here, but as you can see, the quality is pretty darn good. I can dance around, I can move around, and it's not like lagging. It's a very high refresh rate in regards to the frame rates, and I'm very impressed with it. Now, the audio and the call, we're gonna try that right now. So I'm gonna stop the recording on this side, and I'm gonna save it to the camera and download it later, but I'm gonna try and do a bit of a voice call, and we'll see how that goes. Hello, my name is John, and I'm here to talk to the camera. And so let's do a piece to camera.
This is the quality of the audio when you're speaking to the camera, and it is also saving on there and recording it, so we can actually tell if the quality is good enough. And after having a look at it,
earlier on, it's actually good enough to understand somebody at the door. Unless it is super windy, then it might be a little bit hard. They will have to struggle to listen to the actual
camera, and that is the only issue I found with the camera, and that is the quality of the speaker that's built in.
Other than that, I just cannot see an issue with this camera. Let's jump back to the studio. All I have to say is that I'm disappointed that I didn't get to see this earlier. And I'm disappointed that I can only get it now and I have to spend more and I'll have 2 separate apps. But this is the point when subscriptions are just not viable for the generic consumer out here. You're having to pay almost $100 a year sometimes, depending on which subscription you have, and obviously there's different ones out there, when you can literally just buy the camera for $100 and you don't have that issue. You don't have a subscription, the data is secure on here. You have to have a screwdriver to take it out, and it is waterproof, and it connects to your app, and it works so seamlessly that you'd think it was a subscription-based service. But no, it's local, and as long as you have the internet for it at home, it'll work absolutely fine. The Wi-Fi antennas make it look like a spaceship, but it also means the coverage and connection is really good. The quality of the video is absolutely impressive. I cannot speak highly enough. Obviously, the audio is a bit back and forth, and the actual notification of movement is very sensitive, but you can adjust that slightly. At the cost of one of these cameras, you can imagine that you can get a camera system installed by a professional into your home with a little box and a hard drive and an app for around $1,200 to $1,800. Now that's the last time I actually spoke to somebody who did it. They paid $1,800 for 4 cameras around the house installed.
So at a price of $100 per camera, it is a much better option than going to get it installed somewhere for thousands of dollars. At the end of the day, you are achieving the same thing with actually less cables around your house, especially if you have a current Wi-Fi system. The cameras will record to the local storage and you will be able to get that data off.
The thing you have to remember, the one thing you have to remember is power outlets. You have to have a power outlet at each location. But the price compared to the features that this comes with, the quality, and the fact that cameras don't really do much but deter the most simplest of actual robbers. And so having one of these will deter them more because it's more noticeable. You can make a sound straight away, like an alarm, you can make it beep and so on. You should still have an alarm in your house anyway if you want to be that way inclined. This is just a better solution anyway. Friends, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for TP-Link for sending this for review. I'm disappointed I didn't get it earlier before I went out and bought more TP-Link cameras with the subscriptions. In any case, if you're looking for a new camera system that is up to 32 cameras all connected at once to your app, I highly suggest the C310 Tapo from TP-Link. Friends, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you all in another video. Bye!